Good morning, Crest Hill. It's your principal, Mr. Rundle. Today is Thursday, February the 4th, 2021. Okay, we got a lot going on. Big announcements, big information. I want to start by saying first, and probably most importantly, hey, it's Black History Month. I love it. We celebrate African American contributions to our society, our country during the month of February. So we take special pause to celebrate those accomplishments and the heritage and the reason why we are so much richer as a nation because of the contributions of our Black brothers and sisters. And so we celebrate that. You're going to see some of that on Cann today, and I'll be sharing it throughout the month of February. The second most important thing I want to talk about today is, okay, this time it's for real, guys. Last Tuesday night, our Board of Educators, the people that make all of the important decisions on behalf of Douglas County School District, they voted 7-0, right? A unanimous vote that we are to return to in-person learning at the secondary level, much like I was hoping we would be doing a couple weeks ago, but now we're there. We're finally there. So you will be coming back on Monday. We've sent a long letter to both you. I want you to read it personally. This is your life. Take some ownership of that. We've sent it to your parents because it has lots of information you'll want to talk to them about as well. Both of you need to have this information about what it's going to look like. Bottom line is we are going to be doing a new version, right? Did you hear that word new? We're going to be doing a new version of the hybrid model that we did last fall before we went remote around Thanksgiving, right? So it's not the same thing. Hear me loud and clear. There will be some things that are the same. A days and B days are the days when you physically come and learn in our building, in our classrooms, butts in our chairs. That stays the same. And if you were an A in the fall, you're still an A. If you were B cohort, you're still a B. What's different is that on the days when you're not physically in the building, no longer are those at-home independent learning days. Those are full, live, synchronous, log in and learn from home days, along with the kids that are here in class. So if you think about that, you are attending school all 5 days from here on out, starting Monday. All 5 days. You don't get any days where you don't attend every one of your 7-period classes. That's huge. That's different. It's exciting. It means you're going to get direct instruction from all of your teachers every period, every day. And when you're at home learning remotely through your computer, you're still going to be projected onto your teacher's screen. If you have a question, you can still ask questions. If you have a comment, you get to contribute. If you want to interact with members who are seated physically in the classroom, we have a way for you to do that as well. We've been working very, very hard on this. It's going to take us a little while, all for us to get completely comfortable with it, but we are going to rock with this thing. So my expectation is you are attending school every period, every day. Attendance is going to be taken as if you were here, all of your periods. All behavior expectations are still in play. Cameras must be on. You hear me? That's now a requirement. Your camera must be on so that we, the teacher, just as if you were sitting in front of him or her in the classroom, can see your active engagement and participation and call on you. If you have a personal reason why your camera cannot be on for some reason, you have to get permission from an administrator to have that accommodation. We will work with you on that. But everybody else, no excuses. Camera's on, you are there, so we can see that you are there and we can monitor your level of engagement. So that's new, that's huge. Let's see, so much more, but we're gonna send that to you. I don't wanna yell at you here in my sit speak about it, but we're gonna send that to you. I look so forward to seeing cohort A on Monday, and your teachers look forward to seeing both cohort A and cohort B on Monday, because B, they'll be teaching you through this screen. Okay, big announcements, big information. I want to end my part before we head into some Black History Month, dedications and cool celebrations by shouting out to the 2 Crest Hill Apple Award winners. Miss Marion, the lovely Miss Marion, the integrated wellness teacher for Team Horizon, is this year's Crest Hill Teacher of the Year Apple Award winner, and the wonderful and incredible Miss Sarah, the helping teacher for our SSN program, is the Staff Member of the Year of our faculty and staff. So congratulations to both Sarah and to Doreen. Couldn't have asked for 2 lovelier human beings to win our award and our praise. So well done, you guys. Hey, let's get after some Black History Month celebrations. You're gonna love this. Love you guys. Peace out.
February means it's officially Black History Month, a federally recognized celebration that gives every American a chance to reflect on how African American achievements have contributed to U.S. history and how African accomplishments have impacted the world. But what's the history of Black History Month? It all started with this man, Dr. Carter G. Woodson, known as the father of Black history. In the early 20th century, while earning a master's degree from the University of Chicago and a PhD from Harvard, Woodson grew increasingly frustrated with racist representation and exclusion of African Americans in books and conversations that shaped history. So in 1915, he joined forces to establish the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History, which is now known as the Association for the Study of African American Life and History. Led by Woodson in 1916, the organization launched the Journal of Negro History, which published African American history and honored the achievements of people with African descent. In 1926, on the second week of February, Woodson and the ASNLH organization launched Negro History Week to promote the study of Black history in universities, schools, and the Black community. So why February? Their group originally chose the second week of February to include the birthdays of Frederick Douglass, who escaped slavery to become an abolitionist and civil rights leader, and Abraham Lincoln, who signed the Emancipation Proclamation. The growing awareness highlighted achievements in race pride within the Black community and gave all Americans a new understanding of Black culture. And during the Civil Rights Movement, civil rights workers opened freedom schools in the South, which embraced the week to celebrate the message, among other things. As Black Studies programs spread their movement to universities and campuses across the nation, the week transformed into Black History Month. In 1976, President Gerald Ford officially declared February Black History Month, urging Americans to seize the opportunity to honor the too often neglected accomplishments of Black Americans in every area of endeavor throughout our history. And the rest, as they say, is history.
You're broken down and tired of living life on the merry-go-round, and you can't find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out. Move mountains, we gon' walk it out and move mountains. And I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, I like the waves. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. With you, the silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet. Move mountains, bring it to its feet. Move mountains. And I'll rise like the day. I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. That we have each other, and for that we have each other, and we will rise, we will rise, we will rise, we'll rise. I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up in spite of the ache. I will rise 1,000 times again, and we'll rise up. I like the waves. We'll rise up in spite of the ache. We'll rise up, and we'll do it 1,000 times again.
"99% of the failures come from people who have the habit of making excuses." George Washington Carver. I really like this quote because ultimately what it says is that if you make an excuse, then there's no possible way that you can succeed at anything you do. So when it comes down to it, make sure that you go out there, you give it your all, and see what happens, and walk away happy that at the very least you tried. And if something more came from it, then be that much more excited.
A people without the knowledge of their past history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots. Marcus Garvey. And for me, I think this holiday is about acknowledging that for too long, Black history was not taught the way that it should be, or even at all. And we have to instead be celebrating the contributions of Black Americans in so many parts of American life, in the arts, in music, in sciences, agriculture, telecommunications, computing, even space exploration. And we need to go beyond the platitudes of Dr. King or picking out a single example from Rosa Parks' amazingly long life fighting for rights. And instead, we need to be seeing how the lived experiences of Black Americans has actually forced us to do the work as a nation, to make real the promises that all people are born free and equal. And that with these roots, we can help make the tree of America even stronger.
Maya Angelou once said, "I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." I was a terrible, terrible student. I could not get my act together. But I do remember one of my teachers in high school who taught me that I mattered, that I still have a voice that counted, and that I'm a human being that deserves to be here. I couldn't tell you what that person taught me. I don't know what subject they even taught. I don't know what skills I walked away with from that class. But I do remember how that teacher helped me and made me feel like I was a person and that I could make a difference in the world, even if I wasn't the best student. So I also wonder how many people appreciate how Maya Angelou made them feel. What an influential, an educated, and classy lady.
Hey guys, the quote that I'm going to read you is from Satchel Paige. Satchel Paige was a baseball player. He was actually a pitcher in the Negro Leagues, and he never got the opportunity to play in Major League Baseball. But here's his quote: "Never let your head hang down, never give up and sit down and grieve. Find another way. And don't pray when it rains if you don't pray when the sun shines." And guys, what that means to me is basically, listen, we know sports is great for a lot of things, but one of the things it's great for is building resiliency, right? Because in sport, you're going to fail. In exercise, it's going to be hard. So never give up and sit down and be like, I can't do this anymore. No, sports and exercise, what a great place to build resiliency, right? Hey, this is hard. This is tough. That's okay. Keep going. Keep working through it. And that's why that quote is so important to me.
Don't sit down and wait for the opportunities to come. Get up and make them. And that quote is by Madame C.J. Walker. And that quote resonates with me because I believe that we have opportunities presented to us every single day, and that we need to be able to kind of grab those opportunities and go for them. I, for one, am a definite go-getter, and if I want something done, generally I don't wait for it to get done. I will do it myself or use the resources and friends around me to help me get it done. So, if you really want to get something done, and you have a dream or an aspiration and you're inspired, you should just go for it.
The activist, statesman, all-around cool person John Lewis once said, "When people tell me nothing has changed, I say, come walk in my shoes and I'll show you change." I love this quote. I love the thinking. I love the idea. It's kind of two-pronged. One meaning, man, try experiencing the world from my perspective before you start complaining that nothing has changed, because this is a man who had seen some pretty heinous things in his time. And then the other part of that quote is, he worked so diligently, so earnestly to create change, and he did see it incrementally, but he never gave up. He just kept pushing harder and harder and harder till he saw ever greater degrees of the kind of change he wanted to see in his society. And we're not there yet, but man, if you think that things have not changed, stop and take a look around. John Lewis would say, we're making progress. We got to keep pushing.
I really lucked out and got a really cool quote. Samuel L. Jackson, yes. Take a stand for what's right. Raise a ruckus and make change. You may not always be popular, but you'll be part of something larger and bigger and greater than yourself. Besides, making history is cool, extremely cool. So the way that I look at this quote is kind of the idea of don't ever be quiet about something that bothers you. Every now and again, raise a little hell. Yeah, I said a swear word. Especially if you know that what you're fighting for is right and just. People may not necessarily like it at the time, but if your voice makes even the slightest change, then it is well worth it. And you have to take your small view of your life and project it onto a much larger view of the bigger world around you. And yeah, making history is cool, but teaching history is like way cool. Trust me, I know.
I have a quote from Jesse Owens that says, "Find the good. It's all around you. Find it, showcase it, and you'll start believing in it." That quote specifically resonates with me because if anybody that really knows the soulful heart part of me, I'm about belief in choice. That we choose to be either good in this world or not. We choose to sometimes go on that dark rabbit hole of cynicism and negativity, or we choose to see good and light in this world. And guys, when we do that, when we start to recognize some of the goodness that's happening, two great things happen. We see the goodness of who we are and the value of who you are as a human being. And then the powerful things is we start to recognize the goodness and the full diversity of people around us. The good news is when we start finding it, looking for it, believing in it, showcasing it, living it out, it truly becomes something that can change the world.
I had an interview scheduled at a very prominent hotel. I came in with my raincoat and a couple of other things. And I went to the check booth and I simply was going to ask her where I could find this person that I was to be interviewed for. She took one look at me and she said, "Oh, we don't take those here. You have to go around the back." So I looked at her and I smiled. And I said, "Excuse me, but I was not going to ask you to take my coat and check it, which is your job. I simply was going to ask you for direction. But I will take this moment to let you know, just in case you don't, that every one of us that look like me are not all in a position of servitude. I don't look for anything or ask for anything other than to be treated like a human being. That's all."
To be treated like a human being means you're allowed to make mistakes. It's okay to be upset. It's okay not to be perfect. It's okay to cry and be sad. As long as you know you're treated equally, no matter our skin color.
To be treated like everyone else.
On respect.
It means to be treated equal to one another. We should all have the same opportunity.
Worthy of honor or respect from one another.
You have the same rights no matter your gender, your race, your sexuality, or your ethnicity.
To be treated like everyone else. Nobody should have more power over another.
It's for you to be you, and no one else to say no to that.
And be protected by the law equally as much as anybody else.
It needs to be treated with kindness and love.
To be treated like you're important.
With the same amount of respect and the same amount of privilege.
Have respect towards everybody, no matter the color of their skin or their beliefs.
And no one is put into servitude for their skin color.
Well, no matter what race.
You treat others how you want to be treated, and you consider their situation.
To feel worthy of anything, and to have rights that no one can take away.
That your rights are valued. Just because you were born a different race doesn't mean that you shouldn't have the same rights as everyone else in this world.
I think everyone that has a value, and that value is something that you all have and no one can take away from you. Skin color doesn't matter.
To treat people how you want to be treated.
Not treating anybody different.
Equal opportunity.
I am not black. I mean, that's what the world calls me, but it's not me. I didn't come out of my mother's womb saying, "Hey everybody, I'm black." No, I was taught to be black. And you were taught to call me that, along with whatever you call yourself. It's just a label. See, from birth, the world force feeds us these labels. And eventually we all swallow them. We digest and accept the labels, never ever doubting them. But there's one problem. Labels are not you and labels are not me. Labels are just labels. But who we truly are is not skin deep. See, when I drive my car, no one would ever confuse the car for me. Well, when I drive my body, why do you confuse me for my body? It's my body. Get it? Not me. Let me break it down. See, our bodies are just cars that we operate and drive around. The dealership we call society decided to label mine the black edition, yours the Irish or white edition. And with no money down, 0% APR, and no test drive, we were forced to own these cars for the rest of our lives. Forgive me, but I fail to see the logic or pride in defining myself or judging another by the cars we drive. Because who we truly are is found inside. Listen, I'm not here to tell you how science has concluded that genetically we're all mixed and race in the human species doesn't exist, or how every historian knows that race was invented in the 15th century to divide people from each other and it has worked perfectly. No, I'm not here to lecture. I just want to ask one question. Who would you be if the world never gave you a label? Never gave you a box to check? Would you be white, black, Mexican, Asian, Native American, Middle Eastern, Indian? No. We would be one. We would be together. No longer living in the era of calling human beings black people or white people. These labels that will forever blind us from seeing a person for who they are, but instead seeing them through the judgmental, prejudicial, artificial filters of who we think they are. And when you let an artificial label define yourself, then my friend, you have chosen smallness over greatness and minimized yourself, confined and divided yourself from others. And it is an undeniable fact that where there is division, there will be conflict, and conflict starts wars. Therefore, every war has started over labels. It's always us versus them. So the answer to war, racism, sexism, and every other ism is so simple that every politician has missed it. It's the labels. We must rip them off. Isn't it funny how no baby is born racist, yet every baby cries when they hear the cries of another? No matter the gender, culture, or color, proving that deep down we were meant to connect and care for each other. That is our mission, and that is not my opinion. That is the truth in a world that has sold us fiction. Please listen, labels only distort our vision, which is why half of those watching this will dismiss it or feel resistance and conflicted. But just remember, so did the caterpillar before it broke through its shell and became the magnificent butterfly. Well, these labels are our shells, and we must do the same thing so we can finally spread our wings. Human beings were not meant to be slapped with labels like groceries and supermarkets. DNA cannot be regulated by the FDA. We were meant to be free, and only until we remove them all and stop living and thinking so small will we be free to see ourselves and each other for who we truly are.
All right, here's your Mr. Rundle lame joke for February the 5th. So the other day I was riding a bus, and this gentleman sitting next to me on the bus was, bent over reading a large book in Braille, right? Fascinating to watch someone who's reading in Braille. And so I just asked him, I said, "Excuse me, sir, just curious, what are you reading?" And he stopped and looked in my direction and said, "Oh, I'm reading a really great horror story, and something really awful is about to happen. I can just feel it." That's how you read. Yeah. This is Mr. Rundle saying, I can't wait to see you guys on Monday. Have a great one, everybody. Love you guys. Peace out.